The Philadelphia Eagles might just be on the verge of shaking up the entire NFL landscape, and the timing couldn't be more perfect. With the trade deadline creeping closer, a new and very real report has emerged linking Philly to none other than Trey Hendrickson, the star edge rusher from Cincinnati. And look, this isn't just smoke. This time, there's fire. Legitimate buzz. Hendrickson to the Eagles is a real thing now. And if it happens, it could be the kind of blockbuster that defines the rest of the season. Philly has been sniffing around the idea of beefing up that defensive front, and Hendrickson isn't just another name in the mix. This guy is a game changer. With the team battling inconsistency and injuries up front, adding someone of his caliber might be exactly the jolt this defense needs. Now, while the front office is cooking behind the scenes, there's plenty happening on the field too. The vibes coming out of Philly right now? Surprisingly positive, maybe even cautiously optimistic. After a frustrating loss to the Giants and a much-needed mini-bye, the Eagles are looking to rebound in a massive Week 7 clash against the Minnesota Vikings. This game feels like a turning point. Everyone's asking the same question. Can this team bounce back and finally put together a full performance on both sides of the ball? Players and coaches have been talking, and what stands out is the sense of accountability. No one's passing the blame or making excuses. Guys are owning up to the lack of execution, and it's clear that internally, they know they haven't been good enough. But there's also this quiet confidence, this belief that they're close, that with just a few corrections, this offense can flip the switch. You listen to someone like A.J. Brown or even Jordan Mailata, and the message is the same. Just do your job. That phrase keeps getting repeated. Do your job. It sounds simple, but when that mindset takes hold, it can change everything. That being said, there's no hiding from the issues. This offense hasn't found its rhythm all year. The passing game, in particular, has been stuck in neutral. Whether it's questionable play calling or missed assignments, the consistency just hasn't been there. And this week, the challenge gets even tougher. The Vikings defense, led by Brian Flores, is no joke. They're currently ranked among the top 6 in the league in total defense, and when it comes to defending the pass, they're second best. On top of that, they've been elite at creating turnovers, especially at home, where they're averaging 3 takeaways per game. So for Philly, ball security is going to be everything. Turn it over against this group, and it could spiral quickly. And speaking of the Vikings, there's a familiar face in their secondary, Isaiah Rodgers. The former Eagle has been balling out in Minnesota. He's been one of the biggest surprises of the season, with standout performances like the one against Cincinnati that people are still talking about. A pick 6, 2 fumble recoveries, a defensive touchdown. He posted the highest PFF grade ever recorded for a single game at his position. That's not just good, that's historic. And it stings for Philly fans, because Rodgers was here. He was a part of this group, and the front office did want to bring him back. According to reports, the Eagles tried to re-sign him in the offseason and were ready to match the Vikings' offer. But Rodgers apparently never gave them that chance. He agreed to the Minnesota deal before free agency even officially began. That's raised some eyebrows. Was it a miscommunication? Did his camp shut the door too early? Whatever the case, Rodgers himself clapped back at the report, telling fans not to believe everything they read. And honestly, you can't help but believe him. He always seemed to love being in Philly. He had strong relationships in the locker room. The fans backed him, and he was clearly grateful for the second chance after what happened in Indianapolis. So maybe this was just one of those unfortunate situations where things didn't line up. Still, there's no denying, letting him walk was a rare misstep for Howie Roseman. That misstep now looms large, because this Sunday, Rodgers will be lining up against the guys he used to practice with. And the Eagles' passing attack, already struggling, is going to be tested by a defense that thrives in zone coverage, something Philly has had serious trouble with this season. If they can't figure it out against this Vikings scheme, it could be a long afternoon. But there's one area where the Eagles might be able to flip the script, the running game. And it's about time. Philly's ground attack has been underwhelming all year. There's no sugarcoating it. But Minnesota's one weakness on defense? The run. They're ranked 24th in that category, and that's the soft spot the Eagles have to exploit. It's not just about yards, it's about balance. If they can finally get the run game going, it'll open up everything else. And to be fair, players like Jordan Mailata and the rest of the offensive line seem to think they're just one block away on most plays. It's been a focus this week in practice. And maybe, just maybe, this is the matchup where things finally click. Now, swinging over to the quarterback situation on the Vikings side, it's a bit of a mystery who will be under center. J.J. McCarthy is trying to make a comeback after missing 3 games, but he's still not 100%. Meanwhile, Carson Wentz has been a full participant in practice despite dealing with a shoulder issue. And here's where things get interesting. All signs are pointing to Wentz potentially getting the start. Yes, Carson Wentz, the former Eagles franchise quarterback, the guy who was once the face of this team. And now, he might be lining up on the other side, trying to spoil Philly's bounce-back game. Wentz has kept it pretty professional leading up to the game. He says there's no extra motivation, that this is just another opponent, but you can tell, there's still a connection to Philadelphia. That city changed his life. He got married there, became a father, helped bring a Super Bowl title, even if he wasn't on the field for it. He's reflective, grateful even, and it's clear the Eagles will always be part of his story. And for fans who lived through that wild 2017 season, there's still a soft spot for him, even with all the ups and downs that followed. It's going to be wild seeing him go up against Jalen Hurts, the guy who ultimately took over his spot. But whether it's Wentz or McCarthy out there, the Eagles' defense has one job: keep the quarterback in the pocket. That's been a major issue this season. Too often, Philly has let mobile quarterbacks escape and extend plays with their legs. That's something Jalen Carter talked about this week, and something defensive coordinator Vic Fangio has emphasized too. And it's not just talk. Carter himself is returning to the field this week after missing time due to injury. That's huge for the defensive line. Carter confirmed he's good to go, and he seemed confident in his status. But not everyone's thrilled with what they've seen from him this season. NFL analyst Brian Baldinger didn't hold back. He said Carter has been terrible, out of shape, lacking energy and violence. Harsh words, no doubt, but also a wake-up call. Carter flashed superstar potential last year. This season, not so much. Whether it's the lingering shoulder injury or conditioning issues, something's been off. The Eagles need him to step up, now more than ever. And that brings us full circle, because one way to help Carter and the rest of that front is by bringing in another pass rusher. And that's where Trey Hendrickson comes back into play. Reports say the Eagles are seriously interested, along with teams like the Cowboys, 49ers, and Colts. So it won't be easy. But if Howie Roseman can pull this off, it would be a massive move. Hendrickson is a proven disruptor. He would bring instant impact and take pressure off guys like Carter, Reddick, and Sweat. The only question is cost. Do the Eagles offer more than their rivals? Do they view Hendrickson as a short-term rental or a long-term piece? He's on the final year of his deal, so there are layers to consider. But none of that matters right now. What matters is that Philly is in the hunt. And when this front office starts sniffing around a star player, things can escalate quickly. This team knows what's at stake. This isn't about staying afloat. It's about going for it all. They've got the talent, they've got the leadership, and now they might be adding more firepower. Whether it's fixing the run game, getting Jalen Carter back to his dominant self, or pulling off a surprise trade for Hendrickson, everything is on the table. The Eagles are not just trying to survive this season. They're trying to take it over. If the Eagles are serious about contending, then this stretch of the season, starting with the Vikings, is where they have to start proving it. Because the margin for error is getting thinner, and the schedule isn't getting any easier. After this game, they're staring down a tough road ahead, and the momentum from a statement win could make all the difference. But that's the thing, it can't just be talk anymore. It's got to be action, execution, clean football. Because we've heard all the right things in pressers. We've seen the optimism. Now it's time to deliver. And that brings us right back to Jalen Hurts. This is his team. He knows it. The locker room knows it. But even he would probably admit that the offense hasn't looked quite right this season. The explosive plays haven't been there consistently. The rhythm is off. And a lot of that comes down to the basics: timing, focus, and execution. Hurts has had some strong moments, but the missed reads and turnovers have piled up more than expected. Against a defense like Minnesota's, especially one that thrives in zone and disguises its coverage well, Hurts has to be sharp. No hesitating, no forcing throws. If he plays clean and makes quick decisions, the Eagles can absolutely move the ball. And for that to happen, the wide receivers have to step up too. A.J. Brown has been solid, and Devonta Smith is still a weapon in space, but the chemistry hasn't been quite what it was last year. There have been drops, miscommunications, even a bit of visible frustration on the sidelines. That kind of tension can either tear a team apart or push it to fix things fast. Based on everything coming out of the building, it seems like it's the latter. Brown in particular has sounded more like a leader lately. He knows this team has what it takes, but he's also calling on his teammates to lock in and handle business. That type of vocal leadership matters when the season is in the balance. And again, a lot of the offensive struggles come back to the ground game. It's hard to find rhythm through the air when you're constantly playing behind the sticks. The Eagles have always prided themselves on being a physical, downhill team that can dominate in the trenches. But lately, that identity's been missing. Part of it is the rotation in the backfield. Part of it is the blocking up front not being quite as dominant as usual. But whatever the reason, that has to change. When Philly runs the ball well, everything else opens up. And against a Vikings team that has struggled against the run, this is a golden opportunity to get that swagger back. The offensive line knows it. Guys like Lane Johnson and Jason Kelce have been around long enough to understand what it takes to flip a switch midseason. And this is the kind of week where the vets have to lead the charge. No excuses, no waiting around. Just line up and impose your will. The good news is, there's a sense that the locker room still believes. The players aren't panicking, and that's crucial. A team that trusts each other and their coaches can work through a rough patch. And this week, the focus has been dialed in, not just fixing mistakes, but regaining that edge. The Eagles don't just want to win. They want to dominate again. And that starts up front. Defensively, things are just as critical. The secondary has been tested all year long, and the inconsistencies in coverage have cost them games. Whether it's communication issues or guys just getting beat one-on-one, the big plays given up have been far too frequent. That's a problem against a team like Minnesota, especially if Wentz ends up being the starter. Because no matter what you think about him now, Wentz still has the arm talent to hit deep shots if you give him time. But that's where the pass rush has to come in. Guys like Haason Reddick, Josh Sweat, and hopefully a healthier Jalen Carter need to get home. Not just pressures, but actual sacks. Disrupt the pocket. Force bad decisions. That's where Hendrickson, if the Eagles pull that trade off, could be a game changer. But until then, the current group has to rise to the occasion. This is the kind of game where the front four needs to dominate and make the secondary's job easier. FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments, and let's talk birds. In a shocking turn of events that has sent waves through the NFL community, defensive powerhouse Jalen Carter reportedly made comments that have left the Philadelphia Eagles organization seething. While the exact details remain murky, sources close to the team suggest that Carter's words were nothing short of incendiary, sparking intense debates in locker rooms and front offices alike. Fans and analysts are struggling to reconcile the image of Carter as a disciplined and dedicated athlete with what insiders describe as utterly reckless remarks. According to whispers circulating around league insiders, the player may have questioned the leadership of certain Eagles veterans while hinting at potential unrest in the locker room. Such statements, if true, could have serious repercussions for team chemistry and morale, especially as the Eagles prepare for the high-stakes battles ahead in the season. Social media has erupted in response to the supposed comments, with hashtags trending that demand clarity and accountability. Former players have weighed in, suggesting that while athletes are entitled to express their opinions, timing and context are everything, particularly in a league as scrutinized as the NFL. One analyst even speculated that Carter's remarks could influence contract negotiations or even trade considerations in the near future. The Eagles front office has yet to issue an official statement, but sources claim that internal meetings have already taken place, and coaches are reportedly weighing disciplinary measures. Meanwhile, Carter himself has remained tight-lipped in public appearances, fueling further speculation that there may be more behind the scenes than meets the eye. If confirmed, these revelations could mark one of the most sensational locker room stories of the year, igniting debates about player loyalty, team culture, and the delicate balance between personal expression and professional responsibility. Fans are left on edge, wondering whether this is a fleeting controversy or the start of a deeper rift in one of the NFL's most closely watched teams. As the rumor mill churns and the Eagles grapple with this alleged upheaval, all eyes will be on Carter and the organization to see how this drama unfolds. One thing is certain, nobody saw this coming, and the NFL world is buzzing like never before. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.